G'day everyone, and everyone on the Instagram live. So I've got two feeds today, so I'm going to do my best to concentrate on one of them. As you may have noticed if you've seen my live streams before, this looks a little bit different because today we are relaxing for a change. So usually on live streams I'm standing up at the stand-up desk. I've got my nice blue background behind me, and we are doing anything and everything. We're doing, it all. But today I wanted to do something a little bit more relaxed and a little bit different to what I usually do for live streams. And as Dare says, hey, and you got this. Thank you so much, Dare. And today we're going to do something a little bit different by planning our social media for the next quarter. So I know that sounds like a lot of fun, but planning is one of the best things to do when you're planning social media, or when you're planning to do any sort of social media. Doing stuff on a whim isn't very easy and isn't recommended for a lot of people. And even myself, I actually sit down and plan my social medias ahead of time. So for you guys on the stream, on the Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, you guys will be seeing a presentation as we roll through, and everyone on the Instagram feed, you'll be seeing a presentation through my screen. You'll get to see my lovely dirty desk, but here we are. But today I just want something nice, relaxed, fairly chilled for a nice change. And if you have any questions about social media or about any ideas, do let me know. I might just change this little cam a little bit. Just, nice and chilled. And you guys can, hopefully, there we go. So today what we'll be doing is we'll be using the links that are on the social media post on the live stream. You will be downloading these calendars. So on Instagram, and for you guys on the stream, you'll be able to see it's just some printed off blank calendars. They don't have any holidays. They don't have anything particularly on them. I just use these for when I'm planning my social media, just because it's a blank canvas that I can put things on at my choosing, and I can choose which way and everything goes. So if you know anyone who really needs to sit down and organize their social media, or actually focus a little bit, then feel free to invite them to the live stream and comment any questions you have below. Icebreaker question: do any of you guys actually plan your social media, or is it just on a whim, planning on how it looks? What do you guys actually do? So I know a lot of people who do one way, or where it's just incredibly spontaneous. They do it when they have time. They don't really they don't really schedule any posts beforehand. They just do it when they do it, which works for some, but it's also quite stressful for others. Or a lot of people that just get overwhelmed and busy in their business and then just don't post at all, which again, it's your prerogative to do so. But a lot of people come to your Facebook pages, to various pages, and then get confused because you haven't posted in 6 months, and they think, oh, have you closed down? What's going on? And that's the same thing for my business as well. There's been plenty of times that, my social media has gone dark and people have said, hey, are you open? Are you, going as a business? And maybe at that time I probably wasn't healthy enough to do so. But for a lot of people, a social media presence is just part of the parcel now of running a business. And the methodology I use isn't founded on anything. I might improve it or I might change it over time. That's the point of this live stream. This is just the terminology I use and I currently or plan to use for, say, Creative Geelong, with helping that out, or not really. I won't be helping out, like giving my feedback and advice. This is the pattern I use just to have a straight month just in front of you, being like, okay, I've got a month of stuff. We've got events on, we've got ideas, we've got promotions, we've got sales. Okay, what exactly am I posting about? And for us at Video Confidence Coach, we like to have a regular pattern and we like to have a regular look, in the sense of all our posts look relatively the same. And I don't mean same as in boring, I mean same as in same branding and same feel. We definitely use our neon colors and we used our neon pipes because neon, as you may have guessed from the opening of the live stream and in all of our branding, we do enjoy a bit of neon. So we have that in all our posts. We make sure that we have a written or text post every now and again just to see how that particularly looks. And if not, we might be changing that up in the new year. We might be changing up how that looks. And I might decide to do that from now on, because what I was doing was I was going with the Instagram look. So the Instagram look is three down and then of course across. And when you post, you would say, for example, I would choose an image on the left, an image on the right, an image or a video I should say on the left and right, and in the middle would be a text post. And that would be fine. Like I could put quotes, I could put stats, I could put various things in the middle. But I realized, and looking back at my analytics, which is one thing I recommend you guys do, is look back at your analytics and see what your best posts are, what people resonate with and enjoy, and make sure you do that on a monthly basis. Because what's the point of keeping to create these, text posts if they're not, being seen or being, engaged with in any way? Like, yes, they've got something important to say, but no one's really engaging with them. And that's something that I've learned from my analytics and something I will be changing in the future. So what I might do is, to get the look, instead of it just being a wall of various images and videos with various colors and, focus points, what I might do is I might have in the middle, instead of a text post, I might maybe have a particular theme with the images for the month. So every, middle area, say, think of the Instagram profile where I've got an image on one side, an image on the other. In the middle, I might have just a simple word that you can read. Again, it is a text post, but maybe it's something that's very impactful instead. Or in the middle, I might have a look at other examples of, say, for example, a guide to consultancy. Catherine, those guys have a simple post of a a clipboard with words written on it, and that breaks up their content. And that's something that I could use in the future, and have that almost printed on, or having it look like it's been written on a chalkboard or something that's like that. Not to copy or, not to steal Catherine's idea, but to have that type of emulation and something that's consistent, that is, yes, it's a text post again, but it's something that looks a little bit different. And that's something that I could use, and something that I'm going to be thinking about now while I plan for 2020. So are you guys ready? Hope you are, Matthew. All right. So I'm going to start presenting, and then I'm going to move you guys to a different view. So right now, for those who are on the Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube, you guys are seeing a presentation right now with me in the corner. And for you guys on Instagram, I'm going to switch you around, and you guys can see what's on the presentation, and you can still hear me. Hopefully, if the internet doesn't stuff up, we'll see. Beautiful. So on the screen now, you can see where it says, let's plan your socials Q1 2020. The reason that I say Q1 as opposed to the entire year, it's because things can change over a year. Things can adapt. You may have things that or opportunities that come your way as a small business owner that you need to adapt to. And having every quarter, every 3 months gives you that opportunity to test things out fully. The one thing that I hate when it comes to marketing is people testing things out for like a week, or testing out things out for 2 weeks, or maybe even a day, and saying, okay, people really don't like this because they haven't resonated. or what have you. And that's not how it works. When something is done consistently over a 3-month period, you get definitive data if your audience likes it or not, and if they are interested in or engaging at all. If they're not engaging with it at all, then boom, there you go. 3 months is a decent enough time for anything to check out on social media. That's one of my little pet peeves there. So let's move on to the next slide. So for what you need when using my methodology for planning for content, you will need a printed calendar sheets. Again, the links are in the description. I just print out on my basic office printer. If you are a digital purist, you can probably do this just with a digital one as well. But again, it's kind of nice just to have something in front of you that's physical, that you can use the following items: pens and colored markers, like all my colored markers. So like I use Sharpies, metallic markers, a couple of permanents in there, highlighters. I just use that as a way of being able to definitively look at this social media plan. I either have it on my desk or I have it in my backpack ready to look at home, because it's something that I can easily take with me. It's got all my notes, and anything that needs to physically come with me goes in this clipboard, and I can take it with me wherever it goes. And that's where this social media plan sits. And then when I have any ideas of, hey, I should let people know about the new changes to Canva in regards to them putting in videos, well, then I can do a post and let people know, say, this time. Okay, I've got a bit of a room to move in that respect to put that in there. And like I said, you've got that room to move of what you actually want to do with your social media. And then having a list of your future sales, any upcoming events that you are either attending or hosting, and any promotions that you have planned for the next 3 months. Just having that list out. And also, personally, I find having my months out in front of me, I'm able to judge, okay, say for example, we have a lot of stuff happening in January 2020, and I don't want to overwhelm people by having multiple posts about the same thing. I may have done that a little bit this year, mainly because I was testing things out. But for you guys, what I would probably recommend is having something a little bit like that, to be able to have that in front of you. So when you actually have the idea of, okay, we've got a promotion for Easter, well then going back to say early March, then I'll be able to get ahead of the curve and get started right away, for example. Now on the screen, you guys will see a nice clean calendar. It looks pretty. There's not a whole lot of details. There's no holidays, nothing in there. Are you guys ready? And on screen, you've seen my November 2019 post and schedule. Now, it looks a bit hectic, I must say, that looking at it from someone who doesn't know what's going on, it looks hectic as hell. Like there's colors, there's things written everywhere, there's marks everywhere. But this is, keeping in mind, this is at the end of a month. I've been through this entire month. And say, for example, on there, you've seen where I have an F or it says fail because I either failed to post or something came up. So say, for example, for the past, I'd say 3 to 4 months of me getting back into business for me and Crook, I've kind of not put social media on the wayside, as some of you have definitely attested to, that my social media game is actually quite high. It's mainly because I wanted to post and see how I would go about posting every 2 days, or scheduling my content every 2 or 3 days, as opposed to at the start of the month and scheduling everything in, blah, 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 blah. Because I would have a habit of not checking into my social medias, not responding to comments, not doing any of the things that you need to do on a regular basis. And then I would just kind of forget about it, and everything would just keep rolling on. And I'm not there to respond to anything. So I would usually use it, say, for example, you can see over the Thursday periods, I definitely failed with those uploads that I planned to upload videos every Thursday. Just didn't happen, got too busy, and then it just didn't happen. So, yeah, it didn't happen, but that's what I plan to change in the new year. But at the end, say, for example, down the bottom, you can definitely see I failed a lot. And that's okay. People don't really know this. People aren't, looking at your social media plan and scrutinizing everything you do. They just notice, oh, maybe I haven't seen something from this person in a while. With social media, I want to always make it clear to you guys that it's not the be all and end all. Not everything you do is going to be, the failure or a success of your company. And with social media, it's a way to promote, and as most of you can definitely attest to, and the clients have told me too, is that social media is now being very heavily constrained by players on the platform who you need to pay to win. It used to be that you could get on for free, reach everyone, and do everything. But now that is no longer the case. These companies want to make money, and they want to make more money. And to do that, they need you to pay. So with social media, I use it as more of as a fallback, or as a way of creating my content and working on the website and putting everything just primarily to the website, and then promoting through that. So I'm not showing you guys my content plan. My content plan is somewhere else, and also my content plan looks very much like this. But in regards to what you guys actually want to post on social media, having that knowledge out there in a paper format right in front of you, and you can figure out, okay, where is this going? When is this thing occurring? I'm able to actually do this effectively and easily, compared to something where it's just like, oh, I was supposed to post this. Oh no, this thing, like that stress, it takes it all out for you, because it's there in front of you every single day. It's on my desk, my dirty desk, but it's there on top, and I can see anything and everything that people are doing. And I can also put things in, say for example, on screen now, you can see that I put like live stream. I decided to change what time we were doing it. So then I did this. I was able to, do things about selfies, about different promos I've got going on. So on your on your calendars, but in social media in general, what exactly are your goals for 2020? Make sure you comment below, and you can comment below, and I'll make sure to follow you up in 6 months and see how you actually went with those goals. But in social media, how many posts do you plan to do a day? Now, the number of posts don't exactly determine how present you are on social media, but it gives you a nice goal, in the sense of, our goal at the moment is to reach 2 posts a day. Having 2 posts a day is at a level where we're not posting every single hour, but we've got 2 posts that help resonate with whatever we're posting, because we found 1 post a day was okay, but we would kind of shove everything into that post, where we would talk about this workshop and this workshop and this workshop, but then we'd also talk about this thing that we're doing and this thing that we're doing. There's no way that we're able to fit that much content into 1 single post. So the ability to have more than 1 planned is going to be helpful for us. That cannot be the same for you, and it's not going to be the same for everyone. So say for us, definitely figuring out how many videos that we plan to upload per week, per month. And maybe for you, it's about blog posts, or about maybe posts in general. How many do you plan to upload per week? And this is for a sake of consistency, not for the sake of creating content for the sake of creating content. Remember, the reason that we're on social media and we're promoting ourselves and spruiking ourselves is to inform our customer to always be in front of mind. And to be in front of mind, you need to be seen by them. So to do that, you need to make sure that you're there, that you're letting people know what's going on. And to do that, you need to make sure that you're actually posting regularly. And another number, but one thing that is arbitrary, I'll let you know now, is, do you want to reach a certain number of followers on your particular platform? So I want to tell you now that Facebook likes, Facebook follows, Instagram follows, the amount of LinkedIn likes or connections you have, the subscribers on YouTube, whatever, that is all arbitrary. Yes, numbers are good, and numbers can mean how popular, quote unquote, popular you are, but it doesn't really mean a whole lot when it comes time to actually, getting, qualified leads or getting people on board. Because say, for example, there's a lot of people or a lot of pages or businesses that have, up to millions of people following them, but they've only got, 20 or so people liking their posts, or 20 or 30 people actually clicking the link. And then once they click the link, they click back out because it's not interesting them. So the amount of numbers or people that you have following you doesn't really mean anything unless you got that ROI, that return on investment connection happening. Which is why we usually recommend people to spend maybe half a day planning your social media and then scheduling out a whole bunch of posts just to keep it there. Because say, for example, a lot of people are very busy in their business and social media is on the back burner. But as I said, you need to make sure that you keep present in your social media so people don't get worried. People don't think that, oh, they haven't posted in, 2 weeks. Well, maybe they're closed. Okay, I'll go to this next person who's probably a competitor of yours. And to be able to do that at like a half a day at the start of the month and just be like, cool, the next post, I've got a post scheduled for every 2 days, for the rest of the month. If that's all you need to do, then good, done. You've helped promote and you've helped to do other things as well. But it's half a day that you can use for your marketing, and it's something that you can be consistent and keep consistent over time while working on other aspects of your business and working on those as well as marketing them. Because a lot of people that I have worked with, a lot of clients and potential clients that I've worked with are in that state of mind where, I don't need to market unless I need to. I don't need to market until I need the money. But then when you have that time and you need to get money in, people aren't really automatically going to respond to if you're posting once every 2 weeks to then all of a sudden posting 5 or 6 times a day. People aren't really going to see that. People, you're not going to be in front of mind, and that's not going to kick in for them actually seeing it and responding to it until at least 3 or 4 months in. Because that recognition needs to be consistent. You need to build their trust over time. And to do that, well, you need to have that consistent content there for them to divulge, for them to consume, for them to get there. And that's why a lot of small business owners have marketing their business as a hobby, as something that they do in their free time. And for a lot of people, it's actually quite fun to market your business, to, try new video apps or to try new editing apps and all that stuff, which I personally enjoy as well. Well, video is the forte, but I actually quite do enjoy doing that in my business. But for some people that don't, well then, like I said, spend half a day creating that content, making sure that you're going to be consistently posting every 2 days on whatever platforms you so choose. And then that's it. But then make sure you respond to comments, that you respond to likes, that you respond to anyone who's tagged you. And make sure you do that on a regular basis on the platforms that you're on consistently. And also under that point, I said about spending 1 full day a month keyword searching. Now that's probably a little bit too much, especially if you're starting out and you're just concentrating on actually getting cash in the door. But keyword searching is a tactic where you find the most popular keywords either in your industry or your genre or your particular products that you're selling, and you make sure that you create content around those keywords because that's what people are looking for. People are asking questions of their, Google Homes, Alexa, Minis, whatever they're called, all those places where they're actually auditorily asking questions. Those are the type of searches that are coming up. And if your stuff, and if your content, your videos, your podcasts, whatever content you're creating comes up as that first 2 or 3 options, people are going to trust that over the ads because a lot of people, especially in millennial or my generation, have seen those ads and know that, not that they can't be trusted, but they know not to click on those because they're not the genuine deal. They're just paid to be there. Cool. All right, I'm going to click on the ones that have actually earned the SEO, earned the trust of millions and millions of people watching and reading them to get to that stage. Something that's a good thing to know in regards to SEO. And the other point I want to make is to make a post about every event or sale that you have. Is that a goal of yours? To make sure that when you're actually posting on a regular basis, that you're not just collecting photos or collecting videos or any of that habits that you've been building to help build your business in marketing senses, you're just not posting them at all. Good thing to note. So I'm going to quickly take a drink, and then we're about the halfway mark. So questions to ask yourself. So before you get started on, sitting down with one of these guys, and actually sitting down and planning your social media, questions to ask yourself. What type of content will I post on social media? So again, you've already got the motivations in regards to the products, the sales, the events you're holding, or any of the things that you've got going on in your business. You've already got all that stuff already organized in your mind, in a list. So the type of content that will help support that will at best to be have images, maybe testimonials, or videos proving to people why they should come to your event or why should they purchase a product or service. What else is going to help them with that? So what are the type of posts that'll be useful for you and they're easy enough for you to create with consistency? The reason I don't put text posts in that line, and I don't mean image text posts, I mean just general text posts, is because that's the worst performing type of social media post out there. And yeah, people don't engage with that type of post at all. So we don't do that. Images is where it's at. And another question to ask yourself, as I addressed in the previous slide, is how often will you post? Will you post once a day, once every 2 days, once every 3 days? I probably wouldn't stretch any further than that, just because, people are on social media fairly consistently. And if you're not there often, people kind of think, okay. But if you're doing it, say, every 2 days, that's a pretty good relaxed pace to go to. Then posting once a day is pushing it up a level. Say, for example, our level of posting twice a day is getting to a level. But it's also a case of we post at a specific time per day. When we look at our analytics, we've looked at the people that actually, are on our social media, but the type of people that we aim to bring into the line of work that we do, they usually are on social media between 5:30 and 8:30 at night. So we have our 2 posts between that time, so it gets the most traction and people get to see it the most before they go to sleep, put the kids to bed, what have you. But it could be different for your business. What are the type of people that are actually looking at your posts? Is it mums or dads doing drop-off? Okay, they're probably going to look at their phone and be on social media when they've, dropped off their kids and when they're about to pick up their kids. So that's a specific window in the day when that's going to happen. And then after that, they just don't have time. But say, for example, you could be, people that, are working 9 to 5. But then they, are on the train, bus, social, wherever they are, they're actually on their phones between, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. of an evening is when they're on their phones. So that's when you post. Yes, you could post up leading to that, but social media and all the social media giants out there aren't exactly going to push, or the algorithm is not going to push your content until you've posted it. And if it's fresh, the algorithm is going to give you more high preference than something that's about 5 hours old. Now, do you have a preferred platform is another one that I always ask my clients. What platform do you like using? And then what platform do your customers prefer using? Because those could be 2 different things. And you need to figure that out in regards to where you're going to put your efforts as to where you're actually going to spend your time, effort in creating content. So a good example is a preferred platform could be Facebook. Well, then in regards to Facebook, they like videos, they like vertical videos. So as in content that spans the entire width of the screen of the mobile phone, where 85% of the people are actually on and growing. And they like quick 15-second or less posts, or they like Facebook Lives. In that case, you are going to be using that knowledge and you're going to be doing that type of posts on a regular basis compared to someone that, say, for example, you're on Twitter. On Twitter, you have to post a minimum of 8 times a day to be seen on regular. It is very primarily text, but there are a lot of movie, video and image posts along with Twitter. And you need to have something profoundly to say, and you need to be using your hashtags and tagging people on Twitter a hell of a ton, more than you would on other platforms. So that's a tactic that you would use, and you would think, okay, do I have the ability to do that? Yes or no? And then you fit that into your platform and your strategy. Another question is, have you actually brainstormed with your staff, with your family, maybe even with a mentor that you might have, about what ideas that you can have to help post or, promote your company with? That's something that I highly recommend in regards to brainstorming. And the next point that I want to get to is, what are the 5 pillars of content that you can post about? So these are the 5 pillars that I use for my content, for my client content, and for everything that we do. These are the 5 types of content that you would post, and in varying degrees of what the order and regularity that you post. So the first type is informative. You can probably guess what that means. Supportive, so you're supporting others in your industry, or supporting complementary businesses in your industry, or maybe supporting a local charity or group, bringing people into the area and, make people feel good. Entertaining, again, is one that's quite useful and quite engaging because people want to be entertained. People love a good story. And if you can provide that, people are going to be drawing to that. And the news, of course, updates to your industry, updates to maybe a platform that everyone uses, or an updates to things that maybe you use on a regular basis that your clients do too. What's something that they would be like to know? Say, for example, the Canva and the video stuff. That's something that a lot of people that I know and people that I've taught use Canva. So that's something, a piece of news that would be beneficial to them. And then the next and final pillar would be sales. So sales of your products, of your services, but that would be a little bit of a, I don't want to say minuscule, but I would say it's a lot smaller than the other 5 pillars of content. Than the other 4 pillars of content that you have. The reason being is that people don't like to be sold to. And if you can frame it in a way that's informative, frame it in a way that's supportive, or frame your sales in a way that's entertaining or newsworthy, then people are going to pay more attention, because people don't like to be sold to. People don't like to be like, hey, here's the thing, I'm going to take your money now. People aren't going to be engaged by that. And especially people that have worked with you, people who have bought from you, or people who are about to buy from you, that type of sales tactic is not helpful. Of course, they want to, know, and they want to see the benefits and all those other good things. But that type of sales the outright direct sales doesn't work too well when it comes to social media. Speaking of outright sales, we're going to take a little bit of a break. And for you guys on Instagram, best of luck. So now this is our customary time to have a break and look at some events that we have going for our live streams. Like most we do, we go for an hour and we make sure we take a 5-minute break in the middle to show you guys some of the stuff that we've got going on. So the stuff that we've got going on is some of our events for 2020. And we've got, first of all, Video Made Easy on the 15th of January. This is going to be the last time we run Video Made Easy. The reason being is that we're actually going to make it into an online course after this. We've run it enough times that we've gotten the idea of what people actually enjoy from the workshop. We've actually made sure that we've covered everything. We've answered all your questions, and we're going to put this into an online course. Is going to be a much higher price than that to get people on that level and to get people ready to make videos. So if you are interested in being there in person and you are able to get there, I highly recommend that you do that before, book in before the 15th. But that's going to be the last time that we run that workshop before we move it to an online course, which is probably going to be about $200. And then the next one that I want to let you guys know about is one that has been asked of me for a very long time now. So a lot of business owners that we work with are very time poor, as you can imagine. That's why video is a thing. But people who are interested in podcasting, or people who are interested in being a guest on a podcast, is a lot, I don't want to quote unquote easier, but in regards to creating and maintaining a podcast takes a lot of time, effort, and money, compared to being a guest on a podcast where you appear on someone else's podcast as a guest for, the hour interview or the half-hour interview or however long it needs to be. But then you get that promotion while being on someone else's platform, and you utilize that knowledge and their skills to be able to boost your own credibility within their eyes of their clients or potential listeners. So we're running a workshop as per popular demand by Jürgen Strauss. If any of you guys remember, we did a workshop with them for the Geelong Small Business Festival back in August of this year. And they are running it. They're running it, but we're helping host it for the workshop. And essentially what it will do is we'll give you all the tips and tricks on how to prepare yourself, what gear you're going to need, and making sure that you give the best in your interviews and make sure that you're prepared. So then it's not just a case of bunging up to, a Skype or a Zoom interview and then talking as you would a normal conversation and then just be done. There is a methodology to it. There's a way of doing it that's actually going to be beneficial to you in your business. And this workshop is going to help you a lot with that. So we'll be heavily promoting that throughout the month leading up to it, and we'll let you guys know about good advantage, good benefits, and other things like that that'll be useful for you guys. Speaking of podcasts, we created Geelong Podcasters about, I think, 3 weeks ago now, and we've got a very large Facebook group happening right now. We've been able to get so many people on board, and we've got a lot of people turning up to this particular event, the Geelong Podcasters Meetup, on the 18th of January. So if you're interested in podcast, run a podcast yourself, or just haven't started a podcast yet but are really interested to know what it's like from people that actually do podcasting, make sure you come along to this meetup. It's free, it's open to the public. You can come along. It's in the Creative Geelong atrium. So in the centre of Creative Geelong, there's a Centrepoint arcade right in the middle. I'll scroll down for you. There's a map. And just in the centre of there, we're in this beautiful greenhouse center of the building, which is all glass ceilinged, which is really nice to look at. And of course, you've got the ability to stay indoors and stay out of any rain or any bad weather that we've got going on. So it's like a picnic, but a lot more chilled. So that's the event that we're helping run there. So if you are interested in that, feel free to come along. And we have a series of workshops coming up that I haven't exactly had time to put that into the Eventbrite just yet. But the events that we've got running is the Video On series. So the Video On series is specifically about videos on individual platforms. We've had so many people come to us asking specifically about, can I do better at Instagram? Or I know I need to do more video for my Facebook, but I have no idea where to start. That's what these workshops are for. These are workshops on a specific platform because you guys actually want to know and understand those specific platforms and the video and how video will help you from that level. So we're running Instagram on the 29th of January at the NAB Business Centre in Geelong. And from there, we'll be doing a monthly series. So I think the next 4 months after that, we'll be doing Facebook, we'll be doing LinkedIn, and we'll be doing YouTube. And if you are interested in coming to that, make sure you book. And then the last one that I'm going to give to you guys, going back to podcasts, is the Start My Podcast Workshop. Is a monthly workshop that we run on behalf of Creative Geelong, the place where we live, breathe and work, where we teach you guys how to start your podcast, and you actually walk out of the room. So you walk out of the workshop with a trailer in hand. And that's one of the things that we make sure that we do at the workshops, that you actually walk out with a trailer. You walk out with a piece of audio that you can use to get your podcast started. Because podcasting itself is not exactly a hard task to do. It's just making sure that you keep that consistency, that you make sure that you're there every week, every 2 weeks, whatever you say that you're going to do for your podcast, that you keep that consistency and you actually do that over time. Same thing with you guys in the live streams. I've done my absolute best to make sure that I'm here every single week for your live streams, except for the times that once in November I was on holiday, and then I think in the time before that, on I think the last week of November, you can see on the presentation, where I just got horrendously sick, to the point where I just couldn't move, where doing a live stream was impossible and not a good idea. So yeah, no way. So moving back to the presentation, how are you guys going in there? So back on the screen, you guys will see some important dates. So for the next 20 minutes, I want to discuss with you guys what you're actually going to be putting into these calendars and how that would work for you. So in these calendars, of course, they're blank. The idea being that you can put in whatever is important to your business. I don't usually enjoy calendars with the dates already in them. Sorry, the public holidays in them, unless that's what I want from my calendar. So say, for example, if I want the calendar that's on the back of the, loo door, I probably want to have the dates, the Australia Day, the whatever celebrations are coming. I want that on that particular calendar. But for this one, I want myself to put in those dates, so then I know, is it something that my business is going to celebrate? Is my business going to use that to my advantage? If not, it's not going on the calendar. So the ones that are coming up for January 2020, specifically in Australia, and on the right-hand side, you'll see what states and how that works. So, of course, these are not all the events that are happening in the first quarter of the year. It's just ones that I found on a few listicles, and ones that usually cover the most of Australia. And, of course, overseas, you just Google and you can find your events that work or holidays that happen in your country. So the first one, of course, New Year's Day is usually, the first day of the year, and it's going to be the first day of a new decade. It's going to be quite intense, and people are going to be interested in that. On the 27th is Australia Day holiday, so the 26th is Australia Day. Yes, 26th is Australia. 27th. One of those two, I should probably know. So Australia Day, I don't really celebrate it, mainly because I just use May 8 as my Australia Day. If you get the reference, feel free to comment below. And then on the 10th of February is the Royal Hobart Regatta. So, a whole bunch of big yachts go from Sydney? Yeah, go from Sydney Harbour down to Hobart, and then stuff happens. It's a big race. Racing stops the nation, among many that do stop the nation. So then the 26th is the Launceston Cup. Again, quite a big thing that, like, if you're anything to do with horses or betting, could be a business decision for you. Labor Day, I still don't entirely know what Labor Day is, but it's a public holiday. You can use that to run specific sales for your business, or it could be just a case of, people are actually going out and about if you're a bricks and mortar store. In that case, make sure you have a sale going on. Another one is on the 9th of March is... it's a couple of things. So it's a March public holiday because it's a Labor Day in Victoria, but it's the 8 hours day in Tasmania, probably because everything's closing up. And then March public holiday, somewhat Labor Day in South Australia. So we've got a lot of that stuff coming together, but those are some of the major events that are happening in 2020 in that first quarter. The reason, like I said at the start of this live stream, is we do quarters is because things can change for your business over time, and 3 months is enough time to change things and see how they go. So on the screen, you'll see what sales... Oh, sorry, I forgot to move you guys back. Whoop. All right, so on the screen, you'll see. So what sales or events or promotions do you have lined up? So another way of going through this is, what events will you be attending as part of your business? So this could be events that, are good to promote to other people, just to have a sense of camaraderie. Say, for example, the, Geelong Chamber, or maybe a chamber event or an industry event that you're going to. Maybe there's a really big expo or a really big something that's happening in your industry. And say, for example, the people that are your clients may not be interested as such that you went to this particular expo, but the event itself is something that draws a lot of people and social media into that space. So people that are looking at, people that are going to this expo, you are going to show up. And if you post about that particular event, you're probably going to get a little bit more credibility because you're going to regular events to update your knowledge. Good tip there. Again, what holiday sales are you having? Make sure that you have that plenty of lead up ahead of time to make sure that you inform people when these posts are coming, and when these sales are actually happening and how long they actually happen for is something that's going to help your business thrive on social media. Any complementary business that is selling what your clients actually find helpful. So what I mean by that is, a complementary business is not a business that you have rivalry with or one that you see as a competitor, but one that's a complementary business to you. So say, for example, if you're a catering business, a complementary business could be a band. A complementary business could be a venue place. A complementary business could be, what's another thing that holds events? Is furniture hire. All those type of businesses that aren't competitors to you. They are not catering. They are not doing anything like that. But the people that usually hire a caterer are the people that are usually hiring an event space, that are usually hiring furniture hire, that are usually hiring those type of things that go along with having particular events. If you can provide those in a proposal as well, but if you can provide that on your social media, it's like, hey, we've worked with such and such in the past, they do a really good job, and in turn they'll promote you in turn because what goods has come around, but also people that view you as an expert in your industry. If you can provide them, helpful tips of, hey, I'm checking out this particular caterer and they recommend this place that looks absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I might take that on board. And you've just given a client to someone that you work really well with, and you're also being seen as someone who's helped your clients take that next step with another business. Of course, you're not getting the monetary funds, but you are getting that trust factor being built up 10 times higher because you are seen as that expert that people go to for those particular knowledge and those points. Say, for example, like me. I've had a lot of those people come up to me recently and said, oh, Zoe knows a lot, just talk to Zoe. So I've become the expert in that podcasting and video space. All right, 15 minutes left. What would you like opinions on? Do some customer research. So say, for example, if you're thinking about running a particular service, or if you're thinking of selling a particular product, but you don't know if your customers are going to like it, then post it on social media and say, hey, would you be interested if we started selling this particular product? See what engagement you get. See if people are happy about it. Of course, you need to do more than just post one image on social media. You need to make sure that you actually email people, that you call people, that you do a lot more than just post one social media post. But going out there and actually making it quite clear, which is like, hey, we're checking out if you're interested in posting this particular thing. If you're purchasing this particular thing from us. No, yes, what are they thinking? So do that as well. All right, now let's get to the fun bit. Now you'll see, what type of content will I post? Now we've already gone through all this in the live stream already. You should have already percolated a couple of ideas as to, do I want to post images, videos, combination of the two? How do I want to keep that consistent stylistically? Then how often will I post? When will I post? These are the questions that we should have already come up so far. And you should have been already be able to answer by looking at your analytics, looking at trends, or looking at what other competitors have done in your business and the type of turnover they have. And then share it with whoever helps you with social media. Definitely a big thing. That yes, I'm using a pen and paper and that type of stuff. But if you're working with a social media agency, a social media manager, or just being able to create that type of content, well then, to do that, make sure you share it with them because they're the one that are actually going to be implementing it and acting on it. And one thing that I do with my pages is, instead of using words and just filling up the page with words and just having it way too complicated for my eyes to read, I use symbols and I use my markers to have certain colors and certain shapes represent certain type of posts that I'm making. Or say, for example, on here, you'll see on Tuesdays, I have a golden triangle to mean my, live streams that I'm doing. And then I put next to it, I put a theme. So I have that already lined up for the month, even though sometimes it does look like I'm just flying by the seat of my pants. I'm not doing that sometimes, just today, because today's a bit different. But I'm able to put that there and figure out, okay, what are the themes? What exactly am I doing in my live streams? Okay, let's put that there, let's put that there, let's put that there. And then using that and making sure that you revise your calendar regularly. For me, I have mine on my desk. I have it with me in my backpack when I go home, and I always have my calendars with me because I'm able to look at it whenever. Sometimes I take a photo of it and making sure that I look back to it every now and again. For you guys, maybe it might be a case of looking at it once a week to see how that week went. Do even like a 5-minute revision, just saying, hey, I plan to do 6 posts this week. It looks like I managed to achieve that, but it looks like I forgot to promote a few certain things, or whatever you plan to do. Look back, see what changed, and then did it change because it didn't work out for you, or did it change just because you didn't feel like it was actually working for your business, or maybe you just forgot to? Well, then in that case, maybe looking into scheduling your content ahead of time is going to be better for you than trying to post on the fly as you go. Now on the screen, you'll see a lovely, clean calendar. What are you going to post on that? What is your plan for the next 3 months moving forward of how your stuff is going to look? What sales? What products? What events have you got going on for your business? That'll give you that leg up in regards to return on investment. Like I said, half a day worth of content. That's half a day worth of creating content that's going to last you the next month is a very good return on investment, especially if you get the likes, if you get the comments, if you get the people inquiring with your business because they've seen, hey, this person has, worked with such and such, or bringing it back to the promotion I did, in the middle of the live stream about our podcast guest workshop. Maybe you could go through that workshop and then let people know that, hey, we've just been to this workshop about how to be a guest on a podcast. Keep an eye out for, ask, hey, are there any podcasts you listen to that we would be a great guest on? You're asking for questions, you're asking for comments, and you're getting engagement because you're asking a good question. There's a lot of people out there that listen to podcasts. It's the radio of the future. And it's something that your customers may or may not be interested in, but you're still going to get that comment and connection that's going to boost your engagement up, but it's also going to boost the amount of people that are going to have potential to see you and hear from you. And of course, your business. Apologies if I've made any noises today that aren't that pleasurable to listen to, because it is Tuesday. I am tired. And we're almost at the end of the year. But we have a lot of stuff planned, as I said, for 2020. I plan to actually do a little bit of my stuff actually here today and working through that. But I found actually going through my concept has actually taken most of the hour. But as I said, if you do have any particular questions that you want to know about creating content, that you want to know about creating that video content, do let me know. Do make sure you comment below. And if you do have any questions, make sure you comment below. I use the calendar that I do use is called printercalendar.com. It's one where you've got the ability to just, change how it looks a little bit, or update any of the things that you want to put in there. You can put in particular holidays if you so choose. I just like it to the ability to actually give me a nice plain calendar on a A4 sheet of paper that I can just write anything and everything that I want in it, and just allows me to scribble anything and everything, so then I can make changes if I so choose. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to probably get ready to go home, catch a bus and go home and go to bed, have a little bit of nap, and then plan my stuff for 2020. Because in 2020, we're going to be doing daily live streams for a product that we're presenting in a Facebook group. So if you're part of Business and Heels Geelong, do comment below, because we are actually going to be posting stuff every single day in that group for this Face First challenge. That's right. This is the first time I'm actually putting it out there. The Face First challenge is the name of the challenge that we're doing, and it's going to be a 30-day challenge, 10 minutes a day, a 5-minute live stream that we're going to be doing every day, which is going to be fun. 5 minutes of a video, and then 5 minutes of an actual challenge to get you from not being not being confident in front of the camera to having a video that you post online right away. So of course it's going to be a 30-day challenge, but it's nice incremental steps that get you in the habit of actually thinking about the content that you're putting out there. Because of course, as small business owners, we've got a lot of things to think about, and we've got a lot of stuff to concentrate on and focus on, which of course is hard. But the face that you're putting out there on your social media, on your websites, on the podcast that you guest on any of the places that you are online, is the face of your business. Yes, with your website, you've got way more control over how things look and how things feel. But social media is something that you just can't neglect just because you don't like the practice of it. And if you're able to get a whole bunch of customers without posting anything online, congratulations, do tell us. But for everyone else, you need to make sure that you showcase your face, that you showcase your business online in a positive light, that you answer comments, that you respond when someone asks you something. When you're tagged in a post, make sure that you respond accordingly and quickly. And say, for example, in social media, I've taken, this year I've taken a very large step back of being on social media regularly, a little bit of a detox, if you will, but it's not because, social media is inherently toxic. It's just because I spent too much time staring at my phone to get, no real answer from it. But for me, I log in maybe twice a day, once on the bus in and once on the bus out, answer any comments, answer any questions that people have. And so I'm there investing my time, but getting a return on investment of people actually knowing who I am, knowing what I stand for, and me getting clients from that because people understand that I'm an expert in what I do. I'm an expert in video and I'm an expert in podcasts, and people send people. And my clients, even potential people that I haven't even met, know who I am, come up to me at events and start speaking to me as if I know them. And most of the time I just nod because I probably do know them. I've just completely forgotten, which does happen from time to time. But most of the time it's people that, oh, I've seen you online. I'm like, thank you. And then we proceed to talk as if we're old friends. Because in business, I want to, of course, business is business, money is nice. I would like to live. But it's always about helping you guys succeed. It's about seeing that confidence about you in front of the camera and that confidence of you being able to speak to your audience and telling them why you're doing what you're doing. What's the story behind why you're so passionate, why you're spending late nights, early mornings to give them this event, to give them this product, to give them this service. People want to know why. It's no longer about the big flashy businesses with, the fancy banners and the fancy signage. It's about real people. Small business makes up 40% of Australia's economy. Small business makes 40% of Australia's economy. If there was no small business, Australia would struggle. So as a small business, it's one of the hardest things to do, to take that plunge, to actually do what you're doing and start to take your finances into your own hands. But for everyone I personally believe in the next decade, almost 2 in 3 people are going to become freelancers. They're going to become, gig workers. People, it's no longer in a world where you can work at a factory for 40 years, get your gold watch and leave. We're no longer in a time of that, and we never were, to tell you the truth. But people are going to have multiple careers in their life, and for you to be able to have the skills that you do now, as either a freelancer or a small business or even in a medium business, the skills that you learn now are stuff that's going to carry on for the rest of your life. That was a little bit more of a rant than I planned. Alison says, drive more people to visit my new website is definitely the one thing that I recommend for you guys. And as Alison says, that's the one thing that you need to do. Your social media is there purposefully and only to drive people to your website. Your website is your place, your landscape, and it is your domain. Your social media should be there to drive people to what they need to do next. All right. So I will leave you guys to it. My Instagram has finished doing what it's doing, and I'm going to leave you guys to it. And see you guys later. Enjoy Christmas and enjoy 2020. I'll see you in the new year. Bye.